In this video, I'm taking a look at a magazine. It's Moves magazine number 65 from 1991. It looks a little bit like this. And of course, there's a lot in these magazines, but there was one reason why I really wanted to hang on to this magazine, and it's an article that is on page 34, which is an article by John Schettler. And he's the designer of the Westwar System. And Strategy and Tactics came out with a series, a 4-game set over the 4 magazine issues on the Italian campaign. And it's an interesting look. I mean, it's got a lot of pros and cons to it, but this is a preview and example of play article by the designer. And in S&T 146, you have the Sicily game, which launched the series. And then in 150, S&T 150, you have Salerno. Then in S&T 155, you have Anzio. And then S&T 160, you have Med War, which basically is the has the aircraft and naval for the section on a strategic map, plus it included Corsica and Sardinia. As you know, I don't know why anyone would really be using those 2 islands, but it did put them in there, although the scaling isn't quite right. So magazine games, you know. But what this article does is the Italian campaign, Sicily is the title of the article, and it's a 5-page article. It's very thorough. And it also includes a 1-page sidebar. And it explains the system. It was kind of different and innovative for its time. And one of the things that makes it more difficult for a solitaire player like me is it has a bidding system, because the game works with operations points, and you bid for them. And the winning bidder ends up being the initiative player, and the losing bidder gets to use half of what he bid as reactions. And those are spaced out, so a lot of times the initiative player gets a couple of moves with operations, and then would get the reaction player would every couple turns maybe get an opportunity to move. So there's an operations track depending on where they're set up. Each time you take an operation, it moves down and it tells you who will play next. There are a number of actions that you can take, whether it be moving and refitting, and in addition to your operational level, tactical level actions you take in the game, there are overall strategies that you may be employing at any one time, whether you're going on the offensive or refitting or whatnot. And this article also included a fairly detailed example of play. It's not using the map. You can see it's using basically an abstracted, just hexagon grid to show you the different types of things that you can do and how it might work. So it is useful. Another thing that this game did that was different is how it employs zones of control. Now, back in the old school, essentially you had sticky zones of control, so you had to stop when you enter a zone of control, and every unit had one, and then you had to attack, and then in some systems you had to stop it. You didn't have to attack necessarily, or in certain terrains you didn't have to. Then there were other games that were coming out that, like Ty Bomba's stuff, no zones of control. They found another way to factor all that in. So this game actually had strong and weak zones of control. And that each unit, depending on the size of the unit and what it was, would be rated between 0 and 6. And a 0 to 3 gave it a weak zone of control. A 4 to 6 gave it a strong zone of control. So that was an interesting thing. This is really the only reason that I wanted to hang on to this magazine, for that one article. I do want to go back and explore the Italian campaign series at some point. Anyway, I think I have a few pictures of this game to look at. So this first picture here is from S&T 146. It's the Sicily game in the Westwar System. And you can see this is July 10th of 1943. So this is really the landing turn on of Operation Husky. And the American units are in the green here. The Commonwealth units are in the blue. And the Italians are tan. And the Germans are field gray. And you can see the beachheads that I have here where the American landing is, and the headquarters units. These are divisional headquarters that you see there with the flags depicted. And you can see that the 82nd Airborne has, it looks like, they dropped and they have moved quite a way and seized an important road near Niskemi. And you see the Hermann Goering Panzer Grenadier Division up there in the center left of the map. And we see the 1st Canadian, or the blue units, on the lower right side, confronting some Italian units there. And, the landing is just a little bit, to the southeast of Augusta by the Commonwealth forces. So this is what that Sicily looked like. I remember playing this game through. I had a very good time with it, although there are many Sicily games to choose from. This one is a little bit more fiddly. This next picture is from the Salerno game in S&T number 150. And this game is from, I believe, like September 10th, 1943 through October 20th is what the time period that is represented. In this picture, I don't show a lot of action. Salerno is just off the map here in the center, heading down the coast on the right side. And that's where the landings would have happened. So here you see the German 29th Motorized Division in Naples. So Salerno, I've played this scenario through, and it was also enjoyable. It can be connected. You can go from Sicily to this, but you can connect it through the Medwar rules if you want to. It's a lot of work to figure out how it all links together because they were released in pieces, but it might be a worthwhile trip. This next picture here is from Anzio, which was the S&T 155 issue. And this map shows you Rome at this portion of the game. And you see the 3rd Panzer Grenadier here is operating in Rome, and there's some Italian units. You may notice that the Italian units don't have matching colors, and that's because as you go through each successive game, they had errata counters that they included, which overall is a good thing, but they didn't match up perfectly. Also, a lot of the Anzio games definitely uses a lot of Salerno units in it that don't necessarily come in the magazine game, so you kind of need Salerno to play. Otherwise, you gotta fudge it. But this is kind of what it looked like here in my game around Rome. And this last picture here is from S&T number 160, the Italian campaign Medwar. This is the strategic map showing the area. So you can see all of the Allied aircraft and shipping that are, based now in Tunisia, because by this time period, by the time they were getting into Sicily for Operation Husky and the Salerno landings, the Allies controlled Tunisia. And so we see all of their aircraft there. We also see the Axis in the field gray units where they've got, you can see on the center right side, the Messerschmitt 109s stationed at the air base in Rome. So you can see some of the forces there. There's an Italian air units and Navy up at the very top right. They're in the tan color on Corsica. So you can use this to kind of handle what aircraft might be available and coastal bombardment and movement of troops and things like that. Plus, you can incorporate all four of these games into one grand campaign where with Sicily, and I mean, in theory, you could bypass Sicily and just try to land at Salerno and see what happens. I've never done anything like that, but it is a very interesting series. I'm glad I have this set, and it is a dream for me to get to it, to play it sometime. I really would like to. Anyway, that's a little bit of a look at the maps. Okay, so there you have pictures that I have from it, and that's the Italian campaign from S&T, the Westwar System, and a look at moves number 65. Have a great day, and if you have any thoughts on the Westwar System, feel free to leave them in the comments. Have a great day.